Welcome back, everybody, to Quake Pro League Season 3. I am 40 Lions, joined by the one and only ZSX and the legendary DJ Wheat. Boys, we got one more set for today, and it's going to be COOLLERZ versus vengeurR, as we mentioned previously. Reigning champ versus previous champ. Dan, how do you like this breakdown before we even get into the pick bands of just players themselves?
I used a great phrase for you earlier, 40. Do you remember what it was?
I think you did.
With all the great phrases that you throw out, ZSX, how could he possibly choose?
I'm a walking parable, Wheat. Ceteris paribus. All other things being equal, COOLLERZ should get trounced by vengeurR. So that's what I'm just saying for here. That's what I'm expecting.
This is just becoming Dan's Poet Society, especially with that turtleneck. I love it so much. But yeah, I mean, we're taking a look at the previous champ, COOLLERZ, absolute legend. Wheat has really seen his entire career, but a bit of a fall off here recently in Quake Pro League. We hope to see him return to form, and then vengeurR, again, reigning champion, huge victory for the last stage final to finally raise that belt, finally cracked the championship that he was just striving for all this time. And we'll see if he's on form. Again, it's been a while for everybody. Don't know the practice regimens, don't know who's going to be firing on all cylinders, but this one should be a heater.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like clearly kind of the things that I'm looking for in this first few weeks is to get an idea. How's everyone looking? How's everyone's playing? Is anything surprising us? I mean, every single season of QPL, we have definitely had some surprises, right? I would not expect this one to be any different, especially because now we get to have, right, all of the players within the QPL playing in a round-robin format over the course of the many weeks that we're going to go leading up to the Quake World Championship. But, I mean, it goes without saying, if we just look at these two players based off of just what we know from last season, this is vengeurR's game to take, right? Is COOLLERZ a phenomenal player and a previous champion? Absolutely. Does chat love him, and do many of us love him given his legacy? Absolutely. But I mean, it would be a surprise if COOLLERZ just like busted through the wall like the Kool-Aid man and laid down, you know, even a 2-1 victory. So would love to see it. The chat would pop off, as says with everyone else, but you're talking about a guy who worked so hard over the last 2 seasons to finally win that championship, and that's who COOLLERZ's up against today.
The only thing I will throw out there, as much as I predicted a big loss for COOLLERZ, is that no matter how good or bad he is and how out of practice he is, he's so gifted that he always just looks comfortable, has a way to find his way into the series and be competitive. I don't think I've really ever seen him, beyond the odd occasion, get absolutely smashed. He always, no matter how out of shape he is, he always finds a way to put up a good game, and that's really admirable about him, and just how gifted he is and how much he understands Quake, and even to this day still kind of defines strategy. So never take someone like COOLLERZ for granted.
Sounds good. Well, Dan, I know you're the artist with that turtleneck, so why don't you paint us a picture with the pick bands as we take a look and dive into this one, COOLLERZ versus vengeurR. Why don't you run down the picks for us, if you will, please?
I'm narrowing my brow at a very random visor pick on Deep Embrace. That's the one thing I'm really staring at and trying to place. But apart from that, it's pretty meta across the board. vengeurR loves Ranger on Corrupt to Keep, and COOLLERZ loves Corrupt to Keep full stop, so that's going to be a fun match to watch. Again, the visor pick is a bit at odds with what I see as good on Deep Embrace. It has utility, but again, we'll see what COOLLERZ does there. I'm not a big fan. And then ending up on Awoken, I mean, Killsuit already raised one of the strengths of like an Anarchy on a small map like Awoken. You could circle the map so quickly, and that's what vengeurR will do. Probably the biggest thing he's developed over the last couple of stages is his ability to set the pace at such an incredibly high tempo, and that's what the Anarchy will let him do. But he's also going to run into a Death Knight, and if he hasn't got a good stack, he will just disappear. So that's an interesting one.
Wheat, any thoughts on the lineup?
I mean, I think it's pretty funny because right, Dan was just talking about that second map, Deep Embrace, and while some are thinking about the meta as it relates to, let's say, Insomnia, right, COOLLERZ's obviously putting a focus on establishing the meta on Deep Embrace. So Dan, just watch for it. I'm certain that is the reason behind this pick, and of course I am totally.
I don't think you've ever been wrong,
not.
Lee, to be honest.
I have been wrong so many times.
All right, that's fair. Honesty is the best policy. I personally think that he locked in the visor because he likes to hear his own voice lines, and there's nothing wrong with that. If we were to do a 2-1-3-0 situation, gentlemen, Weed, I'm going to start with you. What do you think?
Wow. As much as I would love to see even a 2-1 to vengeurR just to make things pretty exciting, I think that you're talking about the reigning champ, and it's COOLLERZ mountain to climb. vengeur's at the top, like rooting him on a little bit. So I'm going to have to say 3-0 vengeurR.
Fair enough. Dan?
I know for a fact vengeur's rusty. I don't know for a fact, but I'm going to guess COOLLERZ rustier. I'm going to agree with Wheat and think it's a 3-0.
I'm going to join you guys. Also, chat as well. It looks like 73% at the time of the predictions.
Can we just stop for a second, because everyone's like throwing out ScaleBear, like. You know, just because Rafa picks ScaleBear and then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, this is great. Do you see how many terrible ScaleBear games that we got before Rafa finally like stepped into the reins and was like, this is how you need to play it? So chat, you need to just settle it down just a little bit here. I will get Scale to come over here and take care of all of you.
Chat, there's no filter on Wheat. You need to be careful. He could just rip everybody apart now. So
all I heard from that rant was that deluded rant was that ScaleBearer is a high skill hero champion. That's all I heard from that. Am I wrong?
1,000 IQ plays. 1,000 IQ plays with ScaleBear. We've all seen him. We've all learned to love him. But Dan, I'm gonna get your big old muscles out of here. I want to spend some quality time with Weed. It's been a while, but we'll get you back shortly, buddy.
Bye bye.
Take care, buddy.
We did it.
What's up, Dan? Bye, Dan. What's up, 40?
It's a pleasure to have you back, Wheat. Truly, absolute legend. And I know it's in your contract. I know we always joke about it, but at this point, I think it's real. It's in the contract that you cover all COOLLER games, and I'm starting to just believe that because every time. But it should be a good one.
You know what? I think it has more to do with like, well, at least we can talk about like all of the glory days of Anton, and it's like that's true. I can all day long. We can do it for the next 5 minutes if we need to, but would like to see the glory days return a little bit. Not sure it's going to happen versus vengeurR.
Completely agree, but it wasn't really that long ago. It feels like 70 years ago because of the pandemic and not leaving your house ever, but he won in Italy. That was like 2 years ago, so he can do it. It's just a matter of, are we going to get that cooler? But heard the noises. We're slowly loading up the game, getting into map 1. Again, this is going to be the last series of the day. Chat, so make some noise, lock in those predictions. We're going to start off on Strogg versus Ranger on Corrupted Keep. And again,
I
as
swear
always,
to God, it said
Ruins
was the first map, but okay, I'm changing it.
I could be wrong. I mean, I've been wrong probably more than you.
No, I mean, we are literally loading into Corrupted Keep right now, but I thought that the okay, I was wrong again. All right? Expect me to be wrong like 10 more times today.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. I'd still be wrong more than you.
But I am excited. I am excited for this game, 40. I mean, I want to see how vengeurR is doing, coming back as the champion, right? A lot to live up to, and that's not easy. You've got a lot riding on your back. People expect you to put forth, like, phenomenal results nonstop. So, there is some weight on vengeur's shoulders. Excited to see how he carries it.
Yep, we'll see if he can shoulder the burden here as we're going to start off on Cooler. We're live on map number 1 of the final series of the day for Season 3 Quake Pro League. And big damage right off the bat, and vengeurR with the boomstick takes out Cooler.
Oh no, like Cooler off that spawn. Was like mad that, nice with the peeker there. But Cooler did not chase. He looked like he wanted to go super aggro, which you've seen him do before. He's continuing that spam with the machine gun. Going to try to get an LG pickup here, but nope, both players very, very low. Cooler is going to grab that mega. Great rockets from vengeurR. He's low, but I liked what he was doing there, cutting off Cooler's path, and now Cooler with control of both items.
Yeah, really good prediction rockets there, making sure that Cooler can't escape for free and has to think twice about it. A little bit of a standoff there in the red room. You could tell that both players knew exactly where the other was, but nothing really amounts to it. So vengeur's just going to sit on this 1 frag lead for the time being here. Mega is going to be next, and he's not going to have any time to do any damage on it. So Cooler gets a freebie.
He does. 1 minute into this game, and things they both came out a punch, and COOLLERZ going to hit vengeurR from the back with a lot of LG. Peeker comes out.
What
Oh
a
my
play.
gosh, the orb comes up. They literally pass each other in the night. COOLLERZ trying to get that follow-up frag, but it is vengeurR who actually converts right there, making it 3-0. And what an exchange that was. Not what I expected to see happen.
When he tries to rocket ship out, COOLLERZ does pick him out of the sky with the buckshot, but that was such a smart play from vengeurR. Seeing the peeker instantly and being able to dire orb up and just take him out while he's vulnerable. Really, really smart play. COOLLERZ able to put a frag on the board. He's going to get bullied off of this heavy with the rockets. And oh no, the splash will take out the peeker and COOLLERZ, and vengeurR's already up by 3.
I thought he was just outside of range, but vengeurR knows all. That's why he's definitely a god. He knew that he should throw it out at least in case he wasn't too far behind that wall, and he was right. COOLLERZ eating that one, will pick up the Mega. Doesn't have much of an arsenal here, though. Just the machine gun and the LG. Going to head over to the heavies. Got to be careful here because vengeurR's going to be on his way over, but grabs it. Only thing he's missing here now is the weapons that he needs to go toe-to-toe with vengeurR.
Yeah, just a machine gun, shotgun, and LG, and if he makes something happen with just those, then maybe we are sealing the COOLLERZ of old. He is bullying vengeurR off his position here, and there's the dire orb to the red room, and the chase is on. COOLLERZ smells blood. Oh,
nice.
Beautiful swap.
Very nice. Actually, I don't even think COOLLERZ was fully into that doorway when he came back out, but he is trying to bring this back now 2-4. He's at least keeping pace with vengeurR right now, and although he did give up those initial frags, is making things happen here. Now back above the statue, and not sure how this is going to work out. Is the tri-bolt coming out? Too much damage done as he eats a couple there. Trapped in the corner. vengeurR's going to pick up his 5th frag.
Yeah, just way too early getting trapped. Just no way out. I mean, best case scenario does a ton of damage, but even then, doesn't really do much. But with that delay, he is able to get in on the heavy. So props to COOLLERZ for being able to steal away some items, not giving away full control, making vengeurR's life a little harder, even though he still has the 3 frag lead.
He's going to put himself back up on the LG, coming back around. Nice 1-2 rockets into the LG. Unfortunately, splashes himself there on the side. Still trying to deny it. We got the orb coming up into a rocket. 2-6, and that is the second time that vengeurR has just gotten up close and personal with that orb. COOLLERZ will grab the heavy, but vengeurR in a pretty good position right now, and even going to get those vials to cool down his orb here. And I'm not really sure what COOLLERZ game plan is right now. As we'll see, as both players just kind of been trading back and forth the last couple minutes.
Yeah, good trade of damage there as vengeurR knew that he could fall back onto the Mega, and he should be able to cut off this heavy too. It's a mad dash though, and COOLLERZ actually overshoots it, and the orb is going to steal it away, and vengeurR should be able to get this, and he does. The peeker can't save him, so just a little bit of a mistiming there. Just, I don't even know if it was a misplay, but he just overshot it barely to at least steal that away, and that's huge.
It was. Peeker is just not... In the matchup that is Peeker versus Orb, Peeker doesn't seem to be doing too well either in this one. COOLLERZ does manage to pick up that frag, though, but he is so near death, and vengeurR off the spawn is going to grab himself a rocket and head on up. He had an opportunity maybe to go after COOLLERZ. COOLLERZ still very, very low. Actually, I think he knows exactly where he is in those back hallways for sure, trying to line up any level of spam he possibly can, but COOLLERZ has not been able to find any health at all, and vengeurR still knows about where he's at. Will he be able to get into a good spot? vengeurR's going to grab the Mega, and COOLLERZ just holding on to what little life he has.
There's the dire orb again to close the gap and just get up close and personal immediately, catching COOLLERZ off guard, and he goes down yet again. Just really good machine gun cess prior to that as well from vengeurR.
Yep.
And this is slowly slipping away. 5 frag lead, 6 minutes in. And it was close. I mean, COOLLERZ not playing terribly or anything like that. It's just vengeurR just has enough chip damage to close the gap and get in either to finish with the dire orb or close enough to just rocket shotgun to the face after the dire orb telly. And big rockets almost sending him off the map. The dire orb flub, though. and the Peeker's not going to do it. 7 HP, and COOLLER has to chase this down and try and convert it.
That was an unreal rocket as he was being blasted away. vengeurR very, very low. Is the cleanup going to happen? It's not, and the 50's picked up by vengeurR. He's going to head on over to the heavy, but wrong spot. It's the Mega that's up next. He is in position, however, coming around the corner. COOLLER, that nice crowd. COOLLER manages to get the frag. He will also get the heavy. No, he comes back over. He's going to contest vengeurR off of the spawn. The heavy is up. That will be delayed. Not sure if vengeurR is aware. I think he's got a good idea. He's a smart cookie, 40.
Delicious, smart cookies indeed, but still trailing by 4 is COOLLER. He does have the item split, so technically in control. He just needs to find the damage. Is the LG surprise from vengeurR now, dropping him onto the Mega. And again, this is where the timing difference comes in. COOLLER can kind of take his time to path back to the heavy, but does vengeurR know he's going to show up a little bit early from Banana LG on LG into the Peeker, and the Dire Orb again, Wheat. He uses it to counteract the Peeker so well. vengeurR playing this so smart.
I mean, I feel like vengeurR is just waiting for exactly those moments, and every single time he's hit the bullseye, 40. You'd think after that, you know, third or fourth time, that's where you'd kind of try mixing it up. But for vengeurR, if it works, keep on doing it. No need to fix what is not broken. So he's still in a great spot, even though there's about 2.5 minutes remaining. A 5 making that 6 frag lead, and the heavy is going to put him in a pretty good position to go ahead and seal this game #1 and then take it on to Deep Embrace. But you mentioned earlier, they started off, kept a good tempo back and forth, but really vengeurR came back, and it was those Dire Orbs that really made a huge difference for him.
Absolutely, just getting so much mileage, and even the defensive rocket going up the jump pad, not letting COOLLER get anything. He was so close to converting that, but vengeurR's just too good. The Dire Orb has been the difference maker here, as COOLLER just using the Peeker at inopportune times against Ranger. Against any other champ, it would be fantastic. You'd force him to rocket jump. With Ranger, he just Dire Orbs, he's in your face, getting big damage here as the chase from COOLLER through the telly. With 1:30 left, 6 frags is the tall order, Wheat. I think we might see another frag or 2 out of COOLLER, but I think vengeurR has done enough to steal away this first map.
Yeah, I think so too. At this point, even with about 1.5 minutes. The thing I would say is that COOLLER still put on a pretty good performance here. You know, happy with what I've seen. vengeurR completely capable of absolute dominance here on Corrupted Keep. But COOLLER, you know, was again trying to keep pace early on. He's still managing to pull a few out. At this point, what, 7-11? I don't know if he's going to be able to get 4 frags here. In fact, highly doubtful. But still impressive play by COOLLER. Just vengeurR showing why he was last season's champion, 40.
Absolutely. This is not going to be a walk in the park. COOLLER showing the world that he's like, I hear what you guys say, and I don't appreciate it. As the Peeker played now, fantastic. Finally gets taken out as vengeurR using that shotgun. And now he's just going to try and chip away at the time, hold position here in the red room, and just see where COOLLER's attacking from, and just back away, Weed.
Back away. 30 seconds left in this one. Score right now, line 7-11. Oh, he does manage to get another one off of there. Does a little bit of damage to himself as well, but a 3 frag game. Unfortunately, even COOLLER knows and stops. That is going to be it. So he takes a big swig of water and gets ready for what will be game #2. But GG's. Very, you know, very good game. vengeurR taking that one, and we'll see what happens as we move on to Deep Embrace next.
Completely agree. I don't think it was a poor showing from COOLLER at all. I think he just got caught out by those Peeker plays. Normally, against any other champ, it's pretty safe to do it, especially when you're a full level above. But vengeurR just has that intuition and just the reflexes to know, okay, I can Dire Orb immediately, get a rocket or 2 off, and just, he got like 2 or 3 frags that way, maybe even 4, and that was the difference.
Yeah. And, you know, obviously, Corrupted Keep, it's definitely a faster paced game, right? You kind of are, it's like running a race for 10 minutes. It's like, you know, you got to run for 10 minutes. It's like, okay, I'm going to keep pace. But Corrupted Keep kind of requires you to sprint the whole time. You can't really slow down. If you slow down, your opponent can bring it right back, that tempo right back up. So, you know, interesting game to kick off with here for this series between these two. But also, I expect as Deep Embrace is a little bit similar to that, but we'll see what happens here next. Overall, 40, I think the most important thing is that, we still got a phenomenal game between these two players here at Game 1, and I think, anything here could happen for Game 2.
Yeah, and looking forward to getting into it. I mean, I wouldn't know anything about running or sprinting at all, as you can tell. But, I mean, I think you're right. I think the second map is going to be very similar in that regard. We've seen Deep Embrace be both extremely fast-paced, but like Dan mentioned earlier on the broadcast, we've seen it be rather cagey and kind of low-scoring. So I'm interested to see exactly where these players are going to take us on map number 2, especially, again, with that visor pick for COOLLER. Interesting, to say the least. vengeur's going to have that sore lag. He's going to have much more stack. Thicker spit is going to just tick away. It could be an absolute nightmare for COOLLER, but I feel like he knows something that we might not. Or, again, it's just the amazing voice lines, which is totally fair.
It could be either. And as we're seeing the frags from the last game, boy, those dire orbs were just on point. I think there was one kind of misfire that vengeurR had earlier, but this is it. There it is. Misfire, but then don't worry. I can still use my weapons, which were the nicely placed rocket as COOLLER was going for the chase right there. So vengeur's dire orbs were just absolutely phenomenal on that map. And unfortunately, COOLLER just ate one too many and would not suggest. They do not taste very good.
Yeah, very burning. Just fantastic counterplay with the dire orb in terms of the peeker and everything, and just utilization overall. Taking a quick peek at the chat prediction, 92% in favor of vengeurR. I feel like they've spoken, but again, I feel like COOLLER still has the ability. The visor pick is a little sus maybe, but maybe he's got a little something up his sleeve. Maybe he's been practicing labbing on an alias all off season. Who knows, Weed? It's very
redefining that Deep Embrace meta, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. But either way, this is one of my favorite maps to come out of last season as well. That might be 40 because of some of the evolving meta that we saw, and I think that was pretty exciting to see. Still very stoked to see that happen on Insomnia as well, but we didn't get Insomnia on this one, and that's actually not surprising considering these two players. But yeah, as we head into our next one, vengeurR could close out the series here in 2. COOLLER needs this one to kind of stay alive and take us to a third map. We're going to play the third map no matter what, but for the actual series win. So Dan said, and you got to remember, COOLLER has been a champ in the past. He has a legacy that goes back so many years, and you should never be surprised when you see the COOLLER come out to play.
Completely agree, and you have to respect the turtleneck, so whatever Dan says goes. We are loading up into map number 2. Apologies for the delay. I kicked something down below my desk. It's always my fault, chat, but we're going to get into map number 2 shortly between vengeurR and COOLLER. It's going to be a good one. If COOLLER somehow takes this, I think you are right, where people might be like, you know what, visor might be a solid pick on Deep Embrace, but we'll see. There's going to be 10 minutes before the tale is told.
There will be. We'll find out. We're going into Deep Embrace. And COOLLER with that visor pick. Curious to see how he is going to utilize that. We know what vengeurR is going to do. And taking us out, we're going to look through the eyes of COOLLER off the spawn. Immediately going to get that heavy and the rail. And then pop that vision. See where his opponent's at. That will let him set up. And we do have an exchange of first shots here.
Not a bad first rail at all from COOLLER. Does get the spit out of vengeurR as well. Trying to find another angle to get another rail. Might cut off here at the LG as vengeurR goes flying by. Just trying to track that dinosaur, and that mobility is just going to be really hard to keep up with here.
I do agree with that. COOLLER manages to stay on top and grab that heavy. Another rail is hit. Now he's going to kind of go forward in there, kind of hit another rail, but it will not connect. And so far, this pace is kind of what I expected, even though Deep Embrace can be a little faster. Now, COOLLER lets his opponent goes right past him, but coming on down, spit comes out, and the rocket's not good for COOLLER in the corner. He is pinned to the wall by vengeur's rocket, and that is going to be the first frag. He pops the vision. I don't know that really mattered that much. Machine gun was the only thing, but the LG works out for COOLLER, and he ties this up 1-1.
Not bad at all, as the shaft coming up big for COOLLER here. He's going to be able to drop down onto the Megans through that. 20 seconds until the vision, and vengeur's got a rail waiting for him in the middle of the map. Does take some early damage around the corner, and wow, what a dodge from COOLLERZ. 34 HP though, and he gets picked out of the sky. vengeurR very patient with that shot, making it count.
I think, I mean, patience is probably what ultimately is going to be what wins this game. You know, we've seen it before. COOLLERZ will definitely choose violence, and sometimes that is the enemy of patience, whereas vengeurR will definitely do the same, but also knows when he just needs to slow it down and just really play at whatever pace is going to allow him to take the advantage in the matchup. We see vengeurR do that time and time again. I love COOLLERZ's aggression, but also we all know when that can like turn against you and not work in your favor. So I do think he needs to be a little careful there in that regard, and patience will ultimately be who has the most in this matchup.
Completely agree, and vengeurR will go down. You just have to know when to be aggressive.
All right, that was nice.
And when not to be aggressive.
Yes, you do. As famously said by COOLLERZ himself.
By a certain player, I forget. No. He is still staying in this, only down 1 frag. Does well to keep that ship up, and that's kind of where you need him to be. You need to see more rails, more machine guns, so he could take those close-range fights. Even if he gets, you know, the spit damage on him, he could still finish out the frag and maybe go find some health. But if you let vengeurR stack up too much with Sorlag, that's where it becomes an absolute nightmare and just a little bit too much to overcome.
Rockets coming from down below. Spit not up, so COOLLERZ knows he can fight this one. Unfortunately, that LG from vengeurR just too good, 2-4. I guess he just launched his spit right there. That didn't work out too well for COOLLERZ. But right off the spawn, a little bit of LG damage. And, you know, one of the big things that we saw earlier from COOLLERZ is a couple of his real nice rails, but he has not been able to get over there and grab one. He does have vengeurR on the run now. He's going to use that opportunity to armor up and get back into position. Is vengeurR going for the rail? Oh, and he catches him coming up the side. Cannot get him on the hit. Does grab the heavy, but look at vengeurR using that movement to the best of his ability. COOLLERZ just cannot wrap it up.
And just getting there at the time that he did saved his life by that mega pickup. Otherwise, the vengeurR would have been dead. So using that mobility, as you mentioned, that speed, saved his life, stole away the item. COOLLERZ had an opportunity now. He still does, but that rail is going to even things up between the two. vengeurR slightly better off here with the spit for a little bit of insurance, making sure that COOLLERZ goes down if he presses on, and he will. But again, he steals the item kind of knowing that he's going to die. Can he make a play on the mega? It doesn't look like it based on vengeurR's position, but he is low. Wow, what a play from COOLLERZ.
I mean, that was one of those trying to push the aggression a little bit. That worked out in his favor. He also got the mega, even delayed it just a little bit. vengeurR off the spawn is going to grab that rail. COOLLERZ ready for a big rocket hit happen right there. vengeurR low with no armor stack at all. COOLLERZ around the corner, though, takes a direct hit, and then vengeurR picks up the heavy, and the tables turn within seconds.
You could tell slight hesitation from COOLLERZ. He almost wanted to re-peek and try and do damage before the heavy, but now he's going to take this fight. The spit comes out, the rail will land. Good rockets here trying to push him off the mega. It's actually going to help him mid-fight. Will the rocket connect? vengeurR's stuck in the corner and somehow rails his way out. Does not panic, hugs the wall, makes COOLLERZ make the move, and lands the shot. What a play, Wheat.
I mean, what a play indeed. That has to be pretty frustrating for COOLLERZ. He knew that vengeurR was very close to death right there, but all of his shots just seemingly barely missing while vengeurR ticked away. And he was patient right there. He could have just barreled into that hallway and cleaned things up, but he just played it knowing that there was a very limited amount of places that COOLLERZ could go. So nicely played by vengeurR, and I really start to feel like we're seeing him, you know, warm up. A great rocket from COOLLERZ coming out. I mean, the scoreline's still pretty close, 40. We're only halfway through this game, and there's still a lot of time for anything to happen.
Yeah, and especially depending on where you get a frag, it could lead to an insanely easy conversion frag here, as he's only down by 3, so COOLLERZ has the opportunity to claw his way back into this. Playing very patient on this LG right now. Doesn't have vision, won't have it for another 30 seconds. Acid spits down for another 8 seconds as well. So both players are going to have to rely on just pure positioning and weapons, as no abilities are going to be up. COOLLERZ has to find a way back into this and still has no rail and also no rocket suite.
Yeah, that's not great. I mean, he's nicely stacked. He's got a great arsenal. His spit is up, and I mean, going back to kind of what Dan was saying earlier, I know we kind of were memeing about it, but Pfizer has not done anything really at all. Overall, right, in terms of the vision and that gaining any sort of advantage that he has over his opponent. So the spit, however, 40 has been ridiculously effective. It is for zoning, but vengeurR has been using it incredibly well, and I think that's really the big reason why we've got that extra 3 frags over on his side. Another big zone happened right here. COOLLERZ going to go head-to-head here with the shotgun, finally coming out and does manage to get it. It's a role reversal from what we saw in that back hallway in the Mega earlier, and COOLLERZ made this a 2-frag game.
COOLLERZ staying alive.
Wow.
Great rail. He can convert with the shotgun here. 4 damage, and then the murder hole. He gets there first, and he takes him out. And a bit of a second wind here from COOLLERZ. He's taking advantage of everything. vengeurR gives him good fake on that jump pad. That would have been bad. Amazing rail from COOLLERZ. That was like a pixel rail right over the ledge.
Is super nice. And this is actually, we talked about that aggression earlier, and that aggression brought this game back to 1 frag for COOLLERZ. So I like what we're seeing here. Maybe put vengeurR on the, on the edge a little bit. I mean, that's exactly
that sent him off the edge.
What he needed to do. We're tied it back up now, 6-6. And now vengeurR off the spawn though. Great RL pickup. And look at, I mean, vengeurR makes it look so easy. I cannot believe after all of that, what a phenomenal pickup. And of course, 2 great rockets to make that next frag happen. And vengeurR says, oh no, COOLLERZ, that lead belongs to me.
Oh my goodness, what a great rocket, and the spit connects, and COOLLERZ just going to tick down. He needs to find health. He does pop the vision to try and figure out what the safest way away is, as finally the spit damage goes away, but he took a lot,
He did. I like COOLLERZ playing this middle, trying to hit those long-range rails. vengeurR just below him. COOLLERZ cannot move out. That LG would be devastating. He goes up the jump pad. Nice rail by COOLLERZ yet again, but the better stack in COOLLERZ favor. What is vengeurR going to do? He's going to make it on over to the heavy. Grab that. Mega is still up, and COOLLERZ is going to grab it. So separate on both sides, but 1 minute left, 40, and this is suddenly now COOLLERZ has to press. He has to press forward.
And that last heavy could be huge. I think COOLLERZ needed to try and persist and get that frag to tie it up. vengeurR was more than happy to trade items because now he has the heavy. He has enough stack to fall back on and burn through the rest of this time. And what a lightning gun. COOLLERZ almost connects with another rail, but just no time to fire again. 6-8. And I think vengeurR just sealed this one.
Yeah, I mean, with just less than a minute left to go, COOLLERZ not giving up quite yet. The chase with the LG, vengeurR's going to manage to run away. But really, I think the big shift of momentum, happened as COOLLERZ was making that comeback. vengeurR with that spawn after it was tied 6-6. 2 perfectly placed rockets following up with that machine gun. He took what was a very bad position for him and brought it right back into his favor. And just because you win the battle, you win the frag, doesn't mean that you're in a great spot, right, heading into the next situation. vengeurR showed us exactly why that is the case, and that was some phenomenal decision-making there. I like that we got to see a little bit of that COOLLERZ aggression come up, and let's look at what this is. Like 6-9, that's still a pretty close game.
That's not bad at all.
No.
I don't think that really, I mean, it's a couple decisions, it feels like, from COOLLERZ that's just keeping him from breaking out and taking one of these maps so far. I mean, the first 2 are just extremely close. vengeurR playing fantastic Quake, but again, it kind of leads you to think, well, maybe if he had a different champ, like what kind of, as you mentioned during the match, what benefit is he getting from using his visor vision? And it didn't seem like a lot to us, so I don't know. Interesting pick for sure, but I can't help but feel like he picks a different champion that has more utility and just more use on this map, and maybe it goes his way.
I guess I just, I don't know. Understandably, different players have you know, utility kits, movements that they like. I understand that maybe sometimes they would favor it in a way where we're like, I don't know how that makes sense. But in that situation, it was clear that Spit was winning battles. Spit was allowing vengeurR to grab the major items that he wanted to. We saw that vision pop right off the bat. And what did you see? You just saw Sorlag like zoomy around the map. It didn't really give. It gave him that opening rail. Outside of that, you know, just not much else. So I don't know how much different the scoreline could have been. Maybe that's just what COOLLERZ was going to feel the most comfortable with. But I go back to what Dan was saying. Still hard to kind of wrap my head around that one.
Completely agree. I think it would have gone differently if you picked a different champ. Again, not necessarily be the victor, but I think it would have gotten just a little closer. The utility would have made a little more sense and probably got him out of a jam. Because again, the vision's great, but okay, now I see this dinosaur speeding at me through the wall. What's exactly the point? What's that going to do for me? We just didn't see the zoning based on the ability to see exactly where vengeurR was. Like we saw the zoning with the Spit, and not to mention the damage. Just Sorlag, I feel like just a better pick on that map. But we will see. I mean, we have a long season ahead of us. Maybe he's still developing something with the visor pick, so it doesn't matter too much. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, he did lose the series on that one, but we are going to go to the map number 3, and it's going to be Awoken. COOLLERZ has DK, and vengeurR has Anarchy. Do we see the triple dub here for vengeurR? Do you see this going any other way?
You know, I think early on it was pretty easy to say, look, the champion should be able to take this one. It's likely going to be a 3-0. Based off of how we've seen COOLLERZ play in the last 2 games, and given the fact that it is a DK versus an Anarchy, this could be a map that COOLLERZ could win, and I think seeing a 2-1 victory, I mean, vengeurR still takes the series, but you know, I'd imagine fans out there would be pretty happy, and COOLLERZ himself saying, hey, you know, taking a map off the previous season's champ, that's a good thing to do. So right, I don't know. We'll have to see. Do you think it's possible?
I think so.
Given
At the very
DK
least,
versus...
I would love to see it just so everyone is like, all right, COOLLERZ still belongs here. Because there's a lot of people on chat just out of pocket saying some silly stuff, So we'll see. 76% in favor of vengeurR, so a little bit more respect on COOLLERZ's name on Awoken. But the Flame Strike might play a key part of this matchup as we get into it. We're live, map number 3 for the last series of the day. But I think based on the kit that vengeurR has with the Inject, even if he gets hit with the Flames, he could just mitigate that immediately with the Inject. And there we go. Right off the bat, we see it.
Right. And I mean, assumed that was going to kind of be the plan. So the question is like, will that mobility come in huge? Is there big nuke potential for COOLLERZ? Absolutely. But as you point out, right, Inject is going to be huge on that too. Now we will finally, you know, have some situations where, you know, based off who's picking up the vials for cooldowns, you know, might actually change it. Want to get in a position where you're able to nuke when there's no Inject available. But, you know, that's a very nuanced aspect of this game. It's 0-0 out of the gate. Both players firing away. We're going to have vengeurR in the LG room. LG versus LG here. There's a nice rocket looking for that rail shot. We will have the flames come out, and COOLLERZ going to pick up frag number 1, get himself a nice juicy mega as his reward.
Yeah, and he didn't take the extra like 2 seconds to grab those vials. Not a big deal. He is going to run the map now. 30 seconds until this Flame Strike comes back. vengeurR will have the Inject shortly in about 15 seconds, but COOLLERZ, big stack, good positioning here, middle of the map, and converts with that fantastic rail. vengeurR is so injured right now.
You know, I think the nice thing about the Flame Strike is that I don't know that COOLLERZ needs that necessarily to win, but vengeurR does need his Inject in order to not get blown up, right? So that's where I think this gets a little interesting. We actually have a trade of rocket jumps there, but it's going to put COOLLERZ in position to grab that heavy. So he's totally fine with that. Looking for a rail opportunity right outside of that teleport, and now waiting for the exit. Is his opponent going to fall for it? Absolutely not. vengeurR's 2 on top of that. So I like COOLLERZ playing the middle. Something we see a lot here on Awoken, and he has done a great job controlling most of the major items. In fact, not a single one has gone to vengeurR so far in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely brutal. Getting shut out of the map, moving off the lights. He's trying to hit some damage here. The Flame Strike Converge actually works against COOLLERZ. Does hit a rail, but he's still pretty weak, all things considered. vengeurR has both items, has a little bit of a stack to work with here, and he can get in on this Mega if he wants. Again, that inject kind of working as a pocket Mega after the heavy pickup does, wow, great combo from COOLLERZ there to just absolutely nullify everything that vengeurR has just done and almost gets the conversion for his second frag.
Almost happens. There's some nice rails. Unfortunately, none of them connect. But, again, controlling those majors just as important here. COOLLERZ decides he's going to go in on it. Does get tagged with a little bit of rocket splash, so he's got to be careful. Tri-bolt connecting, and COOLLERZ going to run yet again. I really like what he's doing. Forces that inject come out, then uses the flame into a rail, and COOLLERZ makes it 2-0. And I kind of like what COOLLERZ's got going on here. And that was exactly that situation. COOLLERZ saw the inject come out. That's when you drop the flame strike, and that worked out pretty nicely. Of course, like, thanks to the rail there for doing a lot of the heavy lifting as well. Out of the teleporter, though, COOLLERZ with a little bit more damage, and he seems like he's controlling this matchup quite well.
Yeah, doing a great job. Looks, feels comfortable, and vengeurR just has to start stringing together some sort of damage to even contest some of these items. Again, he only has one heavy to his name. He's really relying on that inject kind of as a mock Mega. Big damage from up top here. Can he even steal away the heavy? He does, but he gives his life, and COOLLERZ is extremely weak, so potential for a refrag, but he's taking his time and just stacking back up off the banana resources here, and vengeurR knows better than the push into COOLLERZ LG.
Yeah, vengeurR is playing real smart right now. Despite the fact that he's down by 3, he's not taking chances that he knows could put him even further in a frag deficit, which I think is really good. He's just got to figure out how he's going to be able to take that control away, because COOLLERZ has a very tight grasp on it. Coming through the window to grab that heavy. He does drop his flame strike, but it immediately forces vengeurR to just jettison himself out of that situation. And we're about to hit the halfway mark, but I think that there's a lot of folks surprised to see COOLLERZ 3-0 up here and just having really, really strict dominance so far here on Awoken.
Yeah, just you can see the display of confidence when he rocket jumped up and just flame strike, and he's like, look, I'm taking this heavy, or you're going to try and take it and you're going to die. Pick your poison. vengeurR decides to wisely turn away and run. He is going to get in on this heavy, but again, he's cornered now, and he's going to end up taking some sort of damage. COOLLERZ just positioning well, trying to figure out exactly where he's going. There's the rocket jump up, and vengeurR, what is happening right now as COOLLERZ takes out COOLLERZ?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I would have stood still for a moment there, too. I mean, completely disoriented. We already have Flame Strike come out. None of it hits. COOLLERZ does take away. Actually, no, he did grab it, but then it just completely disappeared. So now COOLLERZ having to fight from behind. What is vengeurR going to be able to do differently? We'll see how he'll handle control here. But that was just a nice situation there for vengeurR. Literally bouncing on the head of COOLLERZ. He was Mario. COOLLERZ was a Goomba. And you know how that one turns out. vengeurR's going to get another frag here. It's now 2-1. And the control has slipped away. And vengeurR is going to tighten that grip.
And just off the back of a ridiculous rocket jump and disorienting COOLLERZ, whether it be an FOV issue or he just didn't even hear it, that rocket jump is everything now, as vengeurR has tied this game 6 minutes in on the back of that frag.
Yeah, I see a lot of folks in chat saying, I want to see that in replay again. And, you know, watching it from COOLLERZ's eyes, it looked like vengeurR went right above him and then literally was on top of him, then landing 1-2 frag before COOLLERZ kind of realized what had happened with that momentum. Now, we saw vengeurR coming around the corner, so that was a little bit different from our point of view. But, yeah, would like to see that one on the replay. But, bigger deal, 40, it's tied 2-2, and we saw dominant control from COOLLERZ there. He was up 3-1. COOLLERZ caught standing still, and vengeurR going to get a nice rail for that one. Now, what is vengeurR not really able to control that middle area, though, 40, at least not yet. And let's see what he does as heavy is up.
Yeah, giving away his position with that rail and knowing pushing through that choke point is still crazy. The rockets are good. The flame strike comes out, and the inject needs to come out, but it's not available, Weed, as vengeurR does grab a 25 to mitigate it, but... Oh,
Yeah, he
what
had
a
used
rail
it.
from Cooler.
He used that just before it, and again, one of those situations where if Cooler uses that Flame Strike after the inject is out, that would probably maximize his capabilities in terms of getting a frag, and that's exactly how that one played out. vengeurR off the spawn's going to get LG down into a rocket death, and Cooler finds his lead again, 4-2, with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock.
And this is just fantastic from Cooler right now. Cooler is still Cooler, Chad. It doesn't matter. It's far from over, especially with a rail like that from down below. Cooler taking position, but he does have the Flame Strike as well for a little bit of insurance. Big rocket damage, and that's going to plant vengeurR at the bottom of the jump pad. But Cooler just looks cool, calm, and collected. I mean, 2 minutes left, and it's going to take a lot for vengeurR to claw his way back into this.
I think vengeurR picks up an early lead in this game, right? And then he's able to play from a position that he's really comfortable in. But not, when you are down by 3 and you have to be the aggressor, but you are essentially being the aggressor into something that can absolutely blow you
What
up.
a play.
And a beautiful double rail, the rocket jump to get into position. He even gives a teabag to the Mega Health before he picks it up. He felt so good about that one. And the exact same thing that happened earlier, vengeurR coming around the corner after a rocket jump, and Cooler was just a little bit further back to that one to be ready for it. 1.5 minutes left, and yet look at this. We said that, like, if there was a map based off how Cooler was playing, this could be it, and that's exactly how it's playing out. Don't count out vengeurR yet, but we're seconds away from this chapter closing and it going to Cooler.
Oh no, and a flubbed rocket jump, and Cooler takes advantage with a absolutely immaculate rail. 7-2 with a minute left. Cooler does put a map on the board, and Dan was right. I mean, we all kind of thought it, right? But put some respect on Cooler's name. May not have won the series, but he's still Cooler, and he's showing everybody that he absolutely belongs in here. And, throughout the season, we may see the return to form that we all want.
It would be a great thing to see. I really, really like the Cooler that we're seeing here on Awoken. Don't think that vengeurR does manage to get a frag, but I think that'll be it. Needs to be careful though. But I don't think we saw vengeurR on map 1 and 2, but this is the map where we really got to see Cooler, I think, play the way that we know that he's capable of playing. This was like using the full utility. He definitely used the matchup to his advantage. So nicely done. Big nuke on vengeurR, but he's going to get the frag, and the final seconds tick down. Cooler did it. Takes it 2-1, 8-4, and grabs the game. Nicely done.
Not too bad at all. Yeah, nicely done indeed. Fantastic play from Cooler to put himself on the board, but vengeurR doesn't take the series, so sigh of relief after the first 2 maps, I'm sure, but again, every map is money, so you want to see those 3-0s, so good on Cooler for putting a little bit of money in his pocket and still, again, showing that he's a contender, whether, Chad thinks he is or not, so it doesn't matter what they think. But Dan, it matters what you think. You were right, so let's bring you back and let's have a little chat and see you gloat.
I'm not going to gloat. I said it was going to be 3-0 vengeurR, so I'm happy I was wrong. I'm always happy I'm wrong in these predictions because it means somebody exceeded expectation. And in this instance, Cooler, it was brain versus brawn. I think no matter what map you look at, strategically, Cooler was there. It was just you have to question the draft in some aspects. Like, the visor was just useless, and yet he nearly won that match, and that was what was so ridiculous. He went toe-to-toe with vengeurR across the board. Execution-wise, he was a little bit iffy. Map 3 was very not so. He was feeling it. And the picks also favored Cooler. He's somebody that really loves this high-tempo gameplay where he can just cycle the items and press you. We saw that in Map 3, and when he had the DK as well to fall back on and used that exceptionally well, there was really no breathing room for vengeurR. So it was a classical Cooler performance, and he fully deserved it. Again, it wasn't a fluke, and vengeurR was rusty, but he was still playing very good and trying every single moment of the game, so it was just Cooler playing very well.
Honestly, after that third map, I'm even more kind of bummed about the second game pick on Deep Embrace, because I don't think that Visor is shown even in the previous season meta to be like a game-winning pick on that one. But I imagine it could have gone a lot differently. I know that's playing the what if game, but I'm going to do it here today. It's, you know, you pointed it out, Dan, and I think we saw it play out in exactly that way. And that was still a pretty close game, 6-9.
Yeah, and look at the control there. It's very rare you'd see that level of dominance of a Wenger. Barely touched an item, and that's Cooler at his finest because, as we said, you know, good, bad, rusty or not, Cooler will always be Cooler and know how to play a game of Quake to perfection because he's done it his whole life. He's born to play this game, and so never underestimate him, and this is why.
I think born to play this game is absolutely correct. I think we're trying to get vengeurR on the line to have a little chat, so just hang in there, chat. But I mean, in terms of the entire day, any thoughts on the matches we've seen so far, Dan or Wheat, before we get vengeurR in here?
I think a lot of it lived up to expectation. We saw Rafa dominate, we've seen Cypher dominate, we've seen Kilson back at his best, going toe-to-toe with Avec. And now we see Cooler, hopefully, I think you said it, 40, hopefully a resurgence of Cooler in Season 3. You know, he's had a couple of iffy seasons, but he still has a belt to his name, which not many people can say. So don't forget that.
Absolutely
agree. I think just what a phenomenal kickoff here to just week 1 of what is going to be many, many weeks. I see some sad faces in chat like, oh, the show is over. Not quite yet, almost, but you can be certain that we'll be back again next week. More Quake. Really excited for that. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Got to pace yourselves in this meal because it's going to be a big one. 18 courses before we get to the dessert at the end.
It's going to be so good. But we're going to get vengeurR in the room right now. vengeurR, come on in here. Congratulations on your victory. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Dan, I'll let you kick this one off with a question.
Okay. Hi, Marco. How you doing?
Yeah.
You feeling okay?
Usual. Yeah,
Usual?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good. Now, I just wanted to know what your personal expectations are going into this season, because I know you very well, and I know how hard and how much you put into getting to where you were and winning QuakeCon and how much that meant to you. So, you know, are you still motivated, and what do you see going into the season about where your future lies?
Well, I think there is a lot of catch up to do, and I don't think right now I am championship material, so I need to play and practice, of course. My goal at the moment is to solve things outside Quake, and when everything is solved in my life, then I can start to practice to win again, like usual. That's it. I mean, the goal is always to defend the title, but the opponents are really strong, so I need to practice a lot.
Well, I just want to wish you luck with that, and you sound down, but don't be. You're still a champion, and you will be for at least 18 weeks. So good luck.
That's right. Don't forget that. And I appreciate that perspective, right? So good luck to you on that, vengeurR, on both sides, because I know everyone is rooting for you. Have you had a chance to dive much into the new map that, maybe give us your kind of initial comments on it? We saw it a few times today, which was kind of nice. Obviously not in your series specifically, but would just love to hear your opinion on it overall.
It's a really interesting map. It's really heavy, so for some players it's gonna be really good. For some others maybe not so much, but it's. I mean, I need to play more, for sure. I need to play more matchups to understand fully the rotations and what's going on, but it can be a really snowball map because the spawns are like, 2 or 3 spawns only, so it can be really painful, especially if you're playing a light champion. As we saw with Avec, it's really dangerous, especially against a ranger. Like, you can just get smashed basically if you don't pay attention, so
Yeah, awesome, thank you.
vengeurR, congrats again. And I'm just going to ask an easy one, the same one that I asked you before the show, just so everyone in chat knows. Is it vengeurR or vengeurR? And what do you prefer?
It's vengeurR, so...
It's vengeurR, okay.
Yeah.
So now everyone in chat can calm down. Congratulations, man. It's always good to see you. We're rooting for you in and out of the server, so always a pleasure. Hope to see you again, and take care and congrats.
Yeah, I wanted to say, also COOLLERZ well played. I think he played really well, and I know that maybe it's like also in his real life some things can happen, so I wish him the best for the season. And for me, it's always a legend, so...
Absolutely. absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And just well said. Well said.
Congrats, vengeurR.
Thank you.
Good job on week 1, man.
Congrats,
Take care, guys.
and
Thank you.
we will see you later. Take care. Guys, I mean, it's always nice to have a reminder. Real life happens too. So wishing everybody well. I know it's been crazy times for everybody the last year, 2 years. So, you know, take care of your real life stuff too. Quake will always be here, but I'm always glad to have you guys here. I know, Dan, you hate me. That's fine. That's okay. I'll always love you, Dan. Wheat, it's a pleasure to see you. Dan, any closing thoughts on day number 1 for season 3?
Yeah, it's not just the players at Rusty. Holy crap, I've struggled. At the end of the day, I'm not used to this now. It's just so hard.
You look a little white in the face. I was wondering. You look a little pale. You
Yeah,
need to get some chicken in you. Maybe some cereal.
I need more than chicken, trust me. I need help. But it's been a great day. It's really refreshing to be back. I love the global format. The new map pool is like a breath of fresh air. Even bringing back, Blood Covenant even feels like a new map to me. It's been so long. So it's exciting to see where we're going to be in 18 weeks. Jeez, that's a long time. I'm going to be grayer than you by then.
Good luck. Good luck.
How about you?
Yeah, thanks, 40. First off, 40, Dan, it's been great. Want to thank everyone over at Bethesda, id, PGL, etc. Really excited here to kick off QPL 2022. Chat, it's great to have you back. I've missed your memes. I've missed you calling me wrong all the time. I love the love-hate, bittersweet relation. No, I love you all. Thank you so much for showing up. I know it was a shift from Sunday to Saturday, but I'm excited. I like what you said. I like the Saturday Quake tunes. This is great. That's what I used to watch Saturday mornings. Now it's all Quake. I'm down with it. But thank you all for showing up. Thanks to the players for putting in the effort. I can't wait to see how this season unfolds here over the course of 18 weeks. And I'm going to be glad to be here the entire time. So.
Yep, that's fantastic. And again, just to recap, appreciate you both. Chat, thanks for being here. Production, id, everybody. Don't forget, Quake is on Saturdays now. Quake Pro League, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern. Global format. Everyone's fighting everybody. But that's it for today. We're going to get out of here. See you again next week. Bring your good attitudes, and we'll bring the drip. See you guys later.